Canelo done something that is amazing when Canelo was able to go to light heavyweight and become light heavyweight champion. Something that I didn't even see him going up that heavy, and he did that.
Canelo lands good punches. I think Canelo could hurt Crawford. Crawford's, first time in that division and jumping 2 divisions.
The way that Terence Crawford being, to me, my favorite fighter, the best fighter pound for pound, can be Canelo. A 147-pounder moving up to 68.
Floyd Mayweather cites Terence Crawford's substantial weight disadvantage as the reason he will never defeat Canelo Alvarez. He emphasizes that handling size, power, and stamina at the elite level is just as important as talent when advancing up many classes. Throughout his career, Canelo has faced opponents that are inherently larger, but Crawford is venturing into uncharted terrain. Despite his technical prowess, Mayweather believes Crawford will not be able to bridge this gap.
Because of the weight disadvantage. I can't go all the way up to 180 or 190 pounds.
One of Terence Crawford's greatest obstacles in his career, according to Robert Garcia, is his inexperience at super middleweight. Although Crawford has excelled in a number of divisions, entering Canelo Alvarez's natural weight class is much riskier than earlier moves. Garcia notes that Canelo has spent years honing his skills against naturally larger men, while Crawford has not yet demonstrated that he can sustain his speed, conditioning, and sharpness at such a size. The trainer observes that Crawford appears less explosive and fluid than before since his body has not completely adjusted to the increased weight. When competing against an experienced champion like Canelo, who excels in this division, this could prove to be a significant impact.
Jumping 2 divisions where he only had 1 fight at 154 and didn't look his best either. So there's a lot of questions, about that. And that's why a lot of people think Canelo is going to knock out Crawford, but I'm probably one of the only ones that I do give Crawford a chance. Yeah. I think Crawford can pull it off. Crawford is very talented. He's very fast. He's very smart in the ring. So I think a perfect fight, Crawford could pull off a decision.
Okay.
I think he could win a decision. I don't pick him. I wouldn't put my money on him winning because it's a very dangerous, risky fight, especially with Canelo being so strong. But Canelo's last few performances, he's looked slow, flat-footed, looking for 1 punch at a time. And if that's the Canelo that fights Crawford, Crawford could win a decision. Crawford could outbox him, could outsmart him, could land 3-4 punch combinations and move and win a decision. So do I give Crawford a chance? 100% think Crawford could pull it off. Would I put my money on it? Probably not, but I do give him a chance.
Good stuff. Look, Robert, appreciate you taking time to speak to me. I appreciate you letting me in the gym today. Always a pleasure. And hopefully be catching up sometime soon. Appreciate it. Thank you. Cheers.
Vanish if he defeated a fighter of Canelo's caliber, solidifying his status as the best pound-for-pound fighter of his generation. Show Eyes emphasizes, nonetheless, that Mayweather's legacy would not be instantly eclipsed by this accomplishment. Instead, nevertheless, the bout represents a landmark in boxing history because it gave Crawford the opportunity to rise to such a rarefied stature.
3-time undisputed is insane. If you were to beat Canelo, Terence Crawford, at that point, pound for pound, right under Floyd. Right under Floyd. Wherever you got Floyd, whatever you got him, Terence Crawford is right behind him. Unless you got him first. Okay, how about me? Because I don't have Floyd in my top 10. I have Pacquiao over Floyd. So I know somebody's about to get moist, but I would put Terence Crawford, man, that's old school. That's Henry Armstrong, Sam Langford. Like that's old. That's Joe Gans and Barbados Joe Walcott. Barbados Joe, not Jersey. I'm Barbados. Like that's old school accomplishments. Man, that's throwback. I would have to assess that. 3-time undisputed in the 4-belt era, and against who? Yo, that I don't think Pacquiao would have I don't think he achieved anything in a single fight that would be greater than Terence Crawford jumping up 3 weight classes and beating Canelo. I don't think Pacquiao achieved anything in a single fight greater than that. Not in a single fight. Beating Cotto, I still, because Cotto was weight drained. Has Floyd done anything? Well, he beat Canelo.
In response to Canelo Alvarez's assertion that Crawford is superior to Floyd, Jeff Mayweather has a harsh reaction. Jeff claims that such a claim is more about Canelo's attempt to improve himself by comparison than it is about the facts. He clarifies that by implying that Crawford is better than Canelo, who lost convincingly against Floyd Mayweather, Canelo is indirectly absolving himself of his own loss. Jeff contends that despite Crawford's extraordinary talent, he hasn't yet equaled Floyd's dominance or accomplishments across the sport. According to him, Floyd's perfect record and his handling of top opponents throughout his career speak for themselves. And unless Crawford accomplishes much more, no comparison should be made.
Well, also if we remember, Canelo at that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep waters. So.
What was Canelo? 21, 23, 25?
Yeah, very, very young in the game, obviously.
Yeah, very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
man, that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people, but
you in your prime, when you in your prime, when you were 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
Prime is in your 20s.
it's different for different people.
Okay, so, and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
But I mean,
Make himself look like he did something good.
Joel Diaz flatly rejects Crawford's chances, citing the stark disparity in size. He reminds viewers that Canelo had faced up against powerful fighters who were both strong and resilient. Given that Canelo could withstand blows from a fighter of Golovkin's quality, Diaz wonders how Crawford, who has faced opponents who are smaller than him, could do such severe harm. Even while Crawford skills the strength of opponents who are inherently heavier, fighters frequently underestimate the costs associated with increasing their weight. In this instance, Canelo's fortitude and tenacity make a mountain too high for Crawford to scale.
You ask him who Skull is, they don't even know who he is. I don't even know who he is. But they chose him for a reason, right? A guy with a good record. But
he's a champion.
He's a champion.
He's got the kind of the other stone that's out there that Canelo doesn't connect. Again, the fight against Terence Crawford.
It's a fight for Canelo to win. Simple as that. That's all I can tell you.
Then in September, if Canelo wins, he's got Terence Crawford waiting in the wings.
There is no way that Terence Crawford, being to me my favorite fighter, the best fighter pound for pound, can beat Canelo. A 147-pounder moving up to 68, he can only maybe go 2-3 rounds, and then Canelo hits him and he hurts him. Canelo's being hit by Triple G, the hardest hitter in the division, and never hurt him. But Canelo will hit Crawford and he'll hurt him. Let's put it this way. You remember the fight Benavidez and Demetrius Andre?
Yes.
Demetrius Andre was a great fighter. Nobody wanted to fight him at 54. He moved to 60. Fight 1 or 2. Nobody wanted to fight him at 60. So what did he do? He moved up to 68 because there was nothing for him to fight Benavidez, a big fighter like that. Look what he did in the first 30 rounds. Demetrius Andre was in control. He was doing great. But once that weight starts kicking in, it gets over. There is no way that Crawford can beat Canelo. Turkey on the cheek. It's a big fan of Terence Crawford. He wants to give him a good payday. Simple as that. That's all it is, man.
Another level of strategy is brought to light by the debate over the size of the ring for this fight. Experts contend that the outcome won't be significantly changed by whether the ring is 18 feet or 22 feet. Supporters of Crawford think that a bigger ring would let him to outmaneuver Canelo with footwork and angles, using his cunning technique to offset the pressure from the Mexican stars. Analysts point out that Canelo has successfully adjusted each time he faced opponents in both small and huge rings. Crawford might benefit a little from ring size, but it is unlikely to overshadow Canelo's strength and inherent size advantage. Execution, not dimensions, will ultimately determine the outcome of the battle.
One of the biggest things in this Canelo-Crawford fight we are not talking about is the ring size. If these guys are fighting in the non-traditional 18 by 18 ring, you're gonna want to put your money on Canelo, guys. It is a big difference. Losing out on that extra 4 feet is gonna be an issue for Crawford. It's still possible. Crawford's talented, he's athletic, he has all the potential in the world to pull off a crazy upset here. No matter the ring size, it don't matter. Terence Crawford's that brilliant, he's that excellent. But I'm gonna tell you, man, losing out on that 4 feet is gonna hurt his odds. It's the same thing with 22 feet. Like I said, I don't know what ring they're going with, but if it is in the 22 feet, it's gonna hurt Canelo's odds by a pretty decent margin. Maybe not as much as it's gonna hurt Crawford odds in the 18, but it's still gonna hurt it. You're giving Crawford an extra 4 feet to pivot, maneuver, slip, bob, weave, do whatever he wants. That's gonna give Canelo some issues. I feel like we're not talking about this enough. I heard Turkey said it was gonna be an 18. That was a really long time ago. Like I said, I don't know if they've confirmed what it's gonna be quite yet, but I think it's interesting. Once we get the official announcement, you guys, that's when you place your bets.
Many supporters are optimistic about Crawford's chances against Canelo after his convincing victory over Errol Spence. There is no question about his domination at welterweight after that performance, which demonstrated his timing, versatility, and merciless finishing abilities. Despite his talent, observers warn that Spence is not inherently bigger than Canelo. They point to Israel Madrimov as an opposing example of a fighter Crawford has not encountered, bigger men who might push him to the limit. Canelo, meantime, has already overcome these obstacles by competing against opponents bigger than himself and maintaining his peak level of performance. There is still worry that Crawford's skill versus welterweights would not hold up against Canelo, a physically strong super middleweight.
Hey y'all, the simple real fact is, Terence Crawford never looked that good fighting anybody but Errol Spence. Another real fact is, y'all put too much on Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Y'all feel like he just beat fucking Jesus with Thanos or something. Okay, I get it. Errol Spence was that guy. He beat him. He dominated him. He won that fight. But y'all take that and y'all put so much on that fight, but then y'all look at the Madrimov fight and say, he was a tricky fighter. He's hard for anybody. No one can beat Madrimov. He's the best, second best fighter in the world because he went 12 rounds with Crawford. Not the case. Y'all put too much on the Errol Spence fight and y'all don't put enough on the Madrimov fight. Then we go back to Canelo. Y'all say Canelo, he don't stop nobody. When last time he knocked nobody? If he can't knock out Berlanga, he's not gonna knock out. If he can't knock out him, he's not gonna knock out Crawford, bruh. Just like Crawford went up to 54 and he couldn't get a knockout. Canelo has gone up to 75. He couldn't knock out Bivol. He went up to 68. And those guys are way bigger. He's fighting guys way bigger than him. Crawford couldn't knock out Madrimov because he's his size. Do you think he's gonna knock out Canelo? He's bigger than Canelo. Bro, Canelo got a granted chin. I don't know if y'all know the Canelo. The only people who saying that Crawford's gonna knock Canelo out is people who has to be casual. They probably have not watched the fight since the Tank last fight, or they probably ain't watched the fight since the Errol Spence versus Bud Crawford fight, because I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all niggas didn't even see that Madrimov fight. Y'all just synced it and y'all running with it. Cut it out.
Gabe Rosado considers Canelo's defeat against Floyd Mayweather to be a turning point in the Mexican fighter's career. Canelo was still growing at the moment and lacked the expertise required to take on a defense maestro like Floyd. Rosado contends that even though the defeat was humiliating, Canelo learned a priceless lesson that helped mold him into the boxer he is today. Canelo has improved his technique, gained confidence, and learned how to deal with various styles since then. According to Rosado, this development makes Canelo far more dangerous now than he was when he faced Floyd, and Crawford will have to contend with a more experienced, battle-tested Alvarez.
Could be too soon for Xander, but who knows, man? I mean, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like Canelo needed more seasoning when he fought Floyd, or do you think that Floyd just got his number? Period.
I think he was very inexperienced when he fought Floyd. You know, he's a different fighter, but see, everybody's different. That fight is what made Canelo become the fighter that he is today. So, you know, that's why boxing, man, is like when they shame guys for losses, it's like, man, you just got to really see how a fighter bounces back from a loss. It's like, because, you know, when Canelo lost to Floyd, there was a lot of things that Canelo learned in that fight that he added to his game. Next thing you know, Canelo started moving his head and his counters got better and his speed, and he understood timing. He understood how to like break guys down differently because he learned that off Floyd. So I think it was a good learning experience for Canelo, and then, you know, I think that kind of fight is gonna help him in the Crawford fight.
Crawford might not quite comprehend the toll that fighting Canelo could have on him. Sebastian Fondora cautions. He notes that in addition to physical training, Canelo has honed his ability to adapt over time, which is necessary for super middleweight competition. The Mexican champion has made a living by persevering through this division's rigors and often taking on bigger opponents. Crawford, however, is entering this weight class.
Could be. We'll see what PBC has for us.
You play with Canelo or Crawford?
Canelo.
What do you think is the most significant part of that matchup in Canelo being?
That he's comfortable at 168. You know, that he's been fighting there. He went and collected all the belts at that weight class. Crawford, of course, Crawford has a chance. He has a big chance, you know, being one of the pound-for-pound fighters of the world. But it's just the advantage of being there first. You know what to expect in that weight class. Crawford's coming off a 154 fight that he fought last year. So I really don't consider him even a 154. He's been fighting at 147 for a while. He had that one fight at 154, and then he stopped fighting for a year again. So, you know, of course he's probably been training, you know, again, high-class fighter, but to be comfortable at 168, you're gonna have to do some fights in there. Going in there fighting the undisputed champion, it's gonna take a toll.
What about Ennis? He's the new addition to 154. He's yet to fight there. Canelo brought him in. He can't specifically because he's a switch hitter like Terence Crawford. What do you make of Ennis just not being in your division and then him contributing to Canelo's camp, letting it to his fight? Is that a good move?
I think it's good for Canelo's camp to have a fighter like Ennis. Because, yeah, he likes to switch right-handed, southpaw. I think Canelo probably didn't need that. But, you know, the fact that Ennis went might cause a little bit of drama. I think he did for a dramatic effect. But, you know, great fighter at 147. But 154 is a different division. They have me in there, so we'll see what he can do.